All right, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Mastermind. I'm your host, Samantha Studebaker-Carl, coming at you from beautiful Southwest Georgia. At least this may be the last time you see me in Georgia for a while. I'm getting ready to head back up to Indiana here soon. And well, no, I'll still be here for the next couple of weeks. What am I saying? Anyway, guys, today we're going to be talking about some sneaky ways that your ego tries to get the best of you. And the reason we're going to be talking about ego is because we're studying the book Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. Hopefully you can read that because I don't have a cover on here. And anyway, we're talking about chapter 7 of this book by Wayne Dyer, and we're discussing the Tao, wisdom of the Tao Te Ching. And we're on verse 7 and chapter 7, which is living beyond the ego. But before we get started, I wanted to go ahead and give my friends an opportunity to introduce themselves. And then, for those of you who are watching, jump over to SaturdayMorningMastermind.com. That is our live broadcast page on our website, and you can watch the video at the top there, but then you'll have to scroll all the way down to the bottom to leave a comment. But do so, go ahead and scroll down there, and you can just listen to what we're talking about, and then you can add into the conversation and tell us what you think as far as this chapter or this verse and anything that we're talking about. So with that, guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves, and hopefully Sandy and Jason are going to jump back on.
Good morning, everyone. This is Catherine Clement in Boulder, Colorado, and it's completely overcast this morning, so I tried to pull some extra light into the room. Oh, yay, Sandy made it back. Good. I don't think my mom will ever see this, but I just have to say, happy birthday, Mom! Yay! It's her birthday. We went out. I took her out last night. We went to the dinner theater and saw the Addams Family. It was fabulous. I recommend everybody go to Boulder Dinner Theater. All right, that's my plug for the day.
Anybody else jump? Introduce
Good morning. Okay, I'm here. I was having some issues, but I restarted and here I am. Yay. So Sandy Root here in sunny Miami Beach. We had a little winter, in the 50s and 60s, and it's warm and sunny today. Yeah, looking forward to the discussion about ego.
Hey all, Christina Irvin here, live in Northeast Tennessee, and yeah, definitely looking forward to this discussion about ego. That's a good discussion.
Yes, good morning. I just prefer to be the last. That's just my style, guys. That's just me all my life. All my life. The last shall be first. The first shall be last. I'm just kidding. Look, good morning. I'm from Donna Allen, Raleigh, North Carolina. Good to be here. Sorry I missed last Saturday. But it seems like the Saturdays are not the same without being with this little group right here. I love y'all. Look forward to the discussion.
That's awesome, guys. Glad to have you on. Glad that you were able to join us, Christina. I wasn't sure if you were going to be able to jump on for a couple minutes or not, so that's awesome that you're here. And Sandy, I'm glad you got your internet going there. I was afraid that, I don't know what it is with the Hangouts. Sometimes they work really well, and other times they just act all crazy and wonky. I was listening to the recording from last week, and everything sounded great for a while, and then all of a sudden I was all scratchy and who knows what. So hopefully we'll stay a little bit more clear audio this week, and we can get through this topic, and everybody can learn a little bit and kind of grow together, right? So as we're going along through this, add your thoughts to the topic as well. You can do that at the bottom of the page, and again, it's SaturdayMorningMastermind.com. In case you're kind of jumping on a little bit late, you can get to there, jump over to there. That's our live broadcast page on our website, and you can add comments at the bottom of that page. So, okay, so like I said, we were talking about Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, Living the Wisdom of the Tao by Wayne Dyer, and we're on Chapter 7. Who would like to read verse 7 of the Tao so we can get this conversation going?
I can read it.
Okay.
All right. Verse 7. Heaven is eternal. The earth endures. Why do heaven and earth last forever? They do not live for themselves only. This is the secret of their durability. For this reason, the sage puts himself last and so ends up ahead. He stays a witness to life, so he endures. Serve the needs of others, and all your own needs will be fulfilled. Through selfless action, fulfillment is attained.
I thought this was a very, that was a good verse. I always learn so much from each of the verses. It just amazes me how one little short verse can help us have so much insight if we pay attention, you know, and that's the real clue right there, is paying attention, because you can read a verse and then go about your life and not think twice about it again, or you can read a verse and then think about how that affects your life, think about the things that come up in the back of your mind when you're reading through it. And, you know, and even when you're in your meditations, or if you meditate on a daily basis, is maybe read the verse and then meditate and see what comes up then. And then also be paying attention in your life interactions, because I'll tell you, I have had so many insights with this book just in the past. I mean, just since we got started. We're only on verse 7, for crying out loud, and I have had so many insights. You know, this week I was sitting there and I'm going, you know, I was thinking, I'm growing so much, I'm learning so much, and you know, I've got this. I got this all under control. I'm moving on in my life. I'm becoming a better version of myself. And then I read this chapter and I start paying attention, because you know, Wayne has a section at the end of this chapter where he says, do the Tao now, and kind of gives you a little exercise to follow. And as I started doing that exercise, as I was writing, I was realizing how many different ways my ego was getting in the way of, you know, my relationship, my my health, my what was the other thing I was talking about? I don't know, but either way, it was just all that little inner babble that you know, I mean, you know, things are going on in the back of your mind sometimes, but you don't realize all the different ways, right, until you start paying attention. So guys, what did you think about this verse and this chapter so far, or just to kind of get it going?
Well, I think first of all, I had to start thinking about being honest about how much the ego does get in the way, how much my ego gets in the way, and things that we don't think is ego really is ego, and we like to, you know, ego has a negative connotation, so yeah, we don't want to look at truly be honest about what's ego, what's not ego. But you know, there are so many things. Just the other day, I was thinking, you know, I don't want to. If there's a part of me that, for example, I was talking about being in a pass the cast for a periscope train, and I was frustrated because they give you these topics, and you have to talk about the topic. Well, I want to participate, but I want to participate and say what I want to say. I don't want to talk about the topic, right? I want to be in control of my own thing. But honestly, that's a bit of ego when you think about it, because it's a bit of ego, and it's controlling, and it's all of these things, right? Not always a bad thing, just everything has its place. So I think for me, an interesting perspective, or just part of the discussion, would be understanding there's a time and a place for everything, and what that time and place is. Do you know what I mean?
One part that really jumped out to me was this. He said, try letting life come to you. And that's something that I've heard a lot in the past few months, just through, you know, friends posting things on Facebook. And That keeps popping out to me, like, let things come to you, let life come to you. And that really resonates for me. I'll read the little part that Wayne had wrote about it. The more you pursue desires, the more they'll elude you. Try letting life come to you and begin to notice the clues that what you crave is on its way. You're in a constant state of receiving because of the ceaseless generosity of the eternal Tao. And you know, I see that in my life when I'm really pursuing a desire. It does start to elude me. Like, I get very confused about it. Like, what's this chase? And it starts playing with you, and like, it just becomes this confusing thing. I really around this time when I kept seeing this, try letting life come to you, I was having some relationship issues. So, and I realized that the more I was thinking about the relationship and how it should go this way and it should be this way, it was starting to elude me, and I got so confused, and I had to sort of just step back and let it be and surrender, and that's when things would start to flow again. So this phrase made a lot of sense to me, you know, when we're chasing, and that's so much our ego thinking, well, it has to be this way and I need it to be this way, and that's all ego. But when we relax, the things that we truly need come to us instead of thinking that we know what we need. Everything's provided that's needed at the perfect time. So just relax, let go, let it come. It sounds so easy, but it's not. That's it for now.
Definitely. You know, we all talk about attraction marketing and law of attraction, and we do our little things that we think are going to help in that area, but it's so hard, you know, being these strong, all of us here on this panel are like strong, independent, go-getter, get it done kind of women, you know, and it's really difficult. One of the comments I made on your on the blog post this week was, which I just got it done this morning, was that when you're used to having to be in charge of things, you know, I was a nurse for 20 years, and that was my job, was to solve people's problems and direct them here and there and do this and teach them blah, blah, blah. So it's really easy to fall into that same persona, you know, in personal relationships, and regardless of whether it's romantic or just with friends even, you know, you have to, I'm constantly having to watch myself and make sure that I'm like listening enough and not just trying to solve problems for people, because like you said, Samantha, sometimes that can make people feel like we don't have confidence that they can solve their own problems. I mean, obviously you never, your heart's wanting to help someone, and they're coming to you, and it seems like they're asking for help, you know, so you obviously want to help them, but sometimes the best way you can help is just to listen, and then let them, even if you just say, mm-hmm, oh, mm-hmm, you know, they're just kind of bouncing things off of you, you know, and they, if you just let the conversation go, they pretty much figure it out, even though you don't say anything. But it's hard in that moment, you know, you get that little rub where you just like, you know, you ought to like help them and solve the problem, but it's not always helpful. And we never mean to make people feel bad or that we don't have confidence in them or anything like that. It's just one of those times when your ego is really trying to help. And I think ego is a huge, important part of us. You know, that's kind of what keeps us alive in certain ways and at certain times. But like you said, Christina, there's times when that needs to be at the forefront, and then there's times when you need to pull back and let somebody else's ego be at the forefront.
But you know, ego really is, when it comes down to it, it's like that's that part of our mind. Let me not get too Freudian, but it's really that part in our mind where how we're relating to our environment, right? And so that suggests to me then there's an opportunity for growth, emotional growth and maturity, and mental growth and maturity, so that you are reacting to your environment or thriving in your environment in a healthy, productive, empowering way, loving way. I don't even know where that came from. That was just like, whoa.
And I just wanted to mention, Samantha, I read your blog, the blog post that you wrote for this week last night, and I thought it was really good, you know, really tapping into that discomfort that comes up when you do step back and, okay, I'm going to listen, and, you know, a lot in relationships of, you know, well, I think you should do this, and I think you should do that, and being able to watch yourself and let them figure it out, like Catherine was just saying, letting other people figure it out. You know, it can. I liked just how you kept tying the discomfort into it. So yeah, I didn't get a chance to do that this week because I just read the chapter last night. But I really that blog made me want to, you know, try that out in relationships and finance and all that stuff that you mentioned in the blog. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to welcome Marcia and Karen. I saw that you commented on the page, Karen. I'm going to go ahead, and I saw your comment as well, Marcia. Welcome. Thanks for joining us this morning. And let me read Karen's comment here. She says, morning, morning. I was really torn reading this as it became clear my ego had taken training exactly from Samantha, and I could see I would serve myself, good to see, good to catch, to get away pretty damn quick. Then reading further, more sabotage, no doubt. It seemed I could actually hear my ego as I read her words of example. Scary! I have to say, the discomfort gauge is priceless. Where's a good formatting tool when I need one? Look at the word discomfort as bolded, highlighted, underlined, italicized. That is my darn ego again. I bet so. Yeah, absolutely. You know, isn't it funny how I probably didn't read that exactly how you said it or how you were thinking it, but anyway, it's funny how many different ways our ego does kind of pop up, and it just in that, just like what you were saying about there about, you know, wanting to make it bold, italicized, and out there, you know, just so everybody knows exactly what you're thinking, right? And that's your ego saying, I want you to know, I want you to see me, right? And you know, and whether we realize it or not, you know, a lot of times it takes advantage of us without us even knowing what it's doing, because it's just that wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard, wanting to you know, be acknowledged. I think that happens a lot in relationships, and not only in intimate relationships, but with our children and with our coworkers and with our siblings and our parents, and you know, in all of our relationships, we have that. We just want to be seen and heard, and of course, then we got to remember that that other person is wanting the same thing too, right? What was interesting for me, though. And, you know, it was like, let's see, I took a note here. When Christina, when you were talking about them wanting you to, you know, cover a specific topic on the Periscope program or the training that you're going through, and I think that, and that's one of the things that kind of came up for me too, not with Periscope, but when I started recognizing times when I was uncomfortable or I had that discomfort, like we were talking about with Sandy, and it can be the tiniest little things. Like I got a meditation audio from the Silva training program, and I really like that. But as I'm going through this meditation, it's like really, really slow, and they're talking and they're explaining, and I'm getting these like feelings in my mind going, oh my God, would you just get to the point? Or, you know, I got this. You know, I got this. I don't need you to go through every little thing, you know. And that was my ego, right? That's my ego going, I don't need all of this to get to the meditation state that I need to get to. You know, it's just littlest things. And, you know, so I'm like, how can I do this meditation without having to listen to them go on for 45 minutes? You know, I can get into that state in 5, you know. But it's silly stuff like that, right? You know.
And that's one of my challenges with meditations is like every time you're meditating, you play like those guided meditations and they're talking in that music. The undertone music drives me crazy. But let me tell you what really drives me crazy. You know those random dings that they have during those things? It's supposed to help you connect with the energetic level or whatever. All it does is gets on my doggone nerves and makes me come out of what level of meditation and relaxation I've achieved. I'm sorry, I went on a little rant, but those drive me crazy too.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's so funny how our ego likes to peek up in there, you know, just like, you know, it pops up in the most random ways. I made a list earlier. I don't know where I have it, but, you know, I just started making notes of every time that something would come up and I would feel that need to do or need to say or need to act or whatever. And when I would try and stop myself, even if it was just recognizing that need, was where the discomfort came in, right? It was like, oh, I just did this thing, and then I would be upset, you know. I'd be like, dang it, why did I do that? Or why am I acting this way? Or why did I say this thing? Or why am I even having this uncomfortability about this, you know, one particular thing, right? But, okay, go ahead.
That actually is a good point. That was a point that I wanted to make when I read Karen's message, and then you reiterated it with what you were saying. Discomfort, we associate, again, a negative connotation to it, but literally discomfort for me, and this just popped up for me yesterday, is not actually always a bad thing. A lot of times it's a good thing, because what it is pricking you to a consciousness and an awareness level that you didn't have, right? And it's one of those things where you kind of got to look at it. Like for me, I was like, why am I meditation makes me uncomfortable. The thing that's supposed to make me comfortable makes me uncomfortable. But do you know why? I think it is because my brain is stopping. And if my brain is stopping, then guess what? I'm feeling things that I've been trying to bury and cover up, which you can't do because literally the pressure of it's like a volcano. It's going to come back up. Right? Or I've been avoiding things that I didn't want to be honest about with myself that maybe hurt, maybe made me angry, maybe disappointed me, whatever, but there are feelings with it, right, that I'm not loving. So I realized yesterday that literally discomfort for me is awakening myself to an awareness that there's some trauma there that I need to heal. So now I have to look in the mirror and say, okay, are you going to confront this, Christina? And by confrontation is not a bad thing either, guys. By confronting this, what I'm basically saying is, are you going to explore it, Christina? Are you going to go deeper to find the source of it so that you can heal it?
I keep waiting for Donna to step out, and she ain't coming. She's just sitting back there. She's taking it all in, though. I see her. I love you, Donna. Oh, that's such a wonderful recognition, you know, that you had yesterday, Christina. It's pretty much, I mean, it's that way for everybody. That's why these emotions come up. That's why the discomfort comes up. It's to, like, say, hello, we need to work on this, you know. When things that other people do, like, get on your nerves so much, it's definitely something within yourself that that you need some little bit of polishing up on, you know. And we have to keep doing that. It's not like you do it one time and you're suddenly enlightened or something, you know. Enlightenment is a daily process. It's not a one moment occurrence. You know, you might have lots of those one moment ahas where that light bulb goes off and things, you know, you understand things you never understood before, but there's still more to understand. It is, you know, the mystery goes forever, and we continue to grow every day. There was something in that verse I forgot I wanted to bring up. Let me look back at it while somebody else talks. I got to find it where it's at.
While Catherine's finding that, I think I want to drive home that point of, in that moment of discomfort, make a note of it. Whip out your cell phone, put it on a note, record a message and record. And when you make a note of it, make a note of the thing that made you discomfort, exactly, specifically what was it that made you uncomfortable, right? And then make a note of your emotional shift. Because if you can identify that emotional shift, then you can anchor right there, and you can set a new emotional anchor there. But you can't do that if you don't identify what that emotional shift, where that emotional shift was, what you were feeling, how were you breathing, did you cry, did it get you in your stomach, like did you have a stomach cramp, did you start hyperventilating, those kind of things, right? And then make a list of just kind of take a couple of just 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute, and just write down everything that comes to mind, all the things that are flooding you. Because then you can go back and take the time to explore those things. And that'll help you get to the source. I don't even know where that came from today either. Woo! This girl's deep today, y'all.
Yeah, I wanted to expound on that just a little bit, Christina. You know, when I first read this verse, I had a lot of unhappy, uncomfortable feelings come up from it. And that was before I even discovered any of this other stuff that I was talking about. And I think actually part of my discovery of these other things was part of my avoidance of facing some of what was upsetting me in this verse. And, you know, of course, this verse talks a lot about serving others and, you know, putting people before yourself. And that kind of gets me a little bit, you know, and I had to really think about what is it that is bugging me so much about putting everybody else before myself and serving the needs of other people, and you know, and that sort of thing. And of course, for me, it comes back to a lot of what I was taught in, you know, in my high school days. I went to a Christian school, and in there, they always told you everybody and everything is all before you, and you don't even count. You know, that was the attitude everybody had, and that was what was getting me. Is I'm like, how, you know, if I put everybody else first, does that mean I'm neglecting myself? That I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, and that, you know, everybody else is more important than me? And that was the thoughts that was coming up for me. And of course, I really had to explore that, because I know that that's not what it's trying to tell us. It's not trying to say that everybody else is better than us. It's not trying to say that everybody else is more important than us. It's trying to help us identify where we can nurture others and gain, and by us nurturing others and nurturing you know, helping others, is that we actually help ourselves. When we talked about this in was it last week? No, it was the week before, on how to get more love in your life, and it was talking about you know, one of the realizations that I had was that I was actually withholding love from my husband, not like you know, I don't love you anymore, not like that, but just in my attitudes of the things that he was trying to do in his life, and I wasn't being a helpful person to that, right? And so that was me withholding love from him. And when I started thinking about that, and I'm like, I don't not love him. I love him a lot, and I want to be a supportive person. I want to be a nurturing person. I want all those things. So when I'm looking at this and it's bringing up these feelings of discomfort, you know, for me about serving other people, and then I recognize that it's my worry about being neglected myself, that then I can change the way that I focus the energy and be a nurturing person versus, you know, that whole serving thing brings up the negative connotation for me that, you know, like you're a servant or a slave, or, you know, you're owned by someone else and their desires and wants and all of that kind of thing. That's what that brings up for me. So when I change just the wording, you know, I know it's just semantics, but still, when you just change the words, you can change what it means, right? So if I say, instead of serving, I say nurturing, then it's like a whole different emotional feeling comes over me on that. And so when Christina's talking about just recognizing what's causing you the issue and then exploring it and then seeing what you know, kind of taking your own feelings out of it and go, okay, what is this really trying to help me recognize in my life? And what do I need to work on that's causing me this discomfort? That's my thought on it. But Catherine, did you find what you wanted to share with everybody?
Yeah, it was actually just what you brought up about serving. Serve the needs of others and all your own needs will be fulfilled. And I just wanted to bring this part out because most of us are entrepreneurs that are here, and so this is such a huge lesson for us in our businesses. We have to provide value for people. You know, sometimes people, they get going and they're just like sell, or, you know, on their agenda, and what can I get from people, what can I get from people, instead of what can I give to people, what value am I actually giving. And if your business isn't progressing like you feel like it should or whatever, that's definitely an area to look at. How much value am I actually providing for people? Because you're only going to get back what you put in, you know, or what you give out to people. If you can start helping other people, getting them what they need, not in a overbearing, forceful ego way, but just providing, you know, the service that they need, then just automatically your business is going to be fine if you just keep giving that value to people. And sometimes we think that providing one set of things should cover everybody, and it doesn't. You know, you really have to go individually and see what each individual needs, and take care of those instead of trying to make everybody fit into one cookie cutter that this one answer is going to solve everyone's life. You know, we're all on these different paths, and so it's going to take special attention to each person.
That's really good. And let me just add that when it comes to providing that value, be aware that when you're not providing because providing value is just sharing knowledge, and it's not sharing knowledge like just sharing your business opportunity or something, but also sharing specifically how something can help someone else. And don't judge what may help someone else, because what's that saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure, or something like that. A lot of times when I'm coaching clients and stuff, they feel like they don't know a whole lot, or they don't know how to have a level of depth to their knowledge, so they don't share something because they judge that somebody else can't get value out of it. You never know who knows how much about a certain topic. So just sharing the information itself, and being clear that literally, if you're not, that's ego. If you're spending more time judging how good your value is versus someone else's, that's your ego, that's your stuff, and you're not thinking about serving others.
Yeah, for me, you know, when I was reading about serving the needs of others, when I sat, like, I had some discomfort come up too, similar to yours in a way, Samantha, but also like this guilty feeling, like I'm not doing enough then, you know, like this, well, I need to stop everything and go save the world because apparently I'm not serving correctly. Like this guilt, like, okay, I'm not doing enough. So I had to look and say, okay, what am I doing in my daily life that is serving people? Because I'm not completely just sitting here not serving, you know, I have to be doing something. So I really took time to look at places in my life where maybe I could serve more, or maybe where I am already serving. And I realized, you know, being as simple as listening to others or just being present around others is serving them. It doesn't have to be, I guess I had this idea of it has to be this do to serve others, but it can just you being present, just walking through the world as a present being can serve others. And so that for me was sort of a wake up, like, you know, just being there, listening, holding space for other people, being present around other people can really be a huge service to people, not just the doing idea that I had before. But I also realized, you know, that there's a lot of times where I am very much in my bubble with the work that I do, a lot of work from home stuff, and I started this week really digging into outlining the book that I'm writing, and so I realized, you know, okay, those may not be expressing service to the world at the moment, but that's what they're meant to do. Like my home business is to serve others, to help others become more aware of certain things and to help themselves. And writing my book, the main purpose of writing my book, a big part of it is not just to discover more about myself, but to help other people see that they can improve, they can change their lives from, you know, from rock bottom to a whole different opposite spectrum. So that's eventually going to be serving people when it is there. So that's a big motivation for me in writing the book. So once I stepped back and looked a little bit, I'm like, okay, I'm serving people in these ways, but I also know that I can do more. So the book was, you know, it's just a good reminder to always have that. I think that I've heard this from Wayne Dyer before. Was it him? Yeah. There's this question that I forget to do it every day, but a lot of times I like to have it on my list of things that I ask myself in the morning, like, how can I serve others today? And it sort of helps you take a different perspective on the whole day when asking that in the morning, how can I serve others today? So always a good reminder.
I love that, Sandy, how you were, well, I don't love that you were having that struggle, but but when, you know, earlier when you were talking about the part where he says, let life come to you, and then of course, you know, when you have these ideas come up and that you're not doing enough and that sort of thing, of course that's your ego going, you're not good enough, you're not doing what you should be doing, you should, you know, it's sneaky like that, right? But I had a realization, gosh, it's been a while back, but it was, I was kind of struggling with some of the same kind of things, feeling like I just wasn't doing enough, I wasn't accomplishing enough, I wasn't everything enough, right? And then that was creating a discomfort inside of me, going, oh, okay, well, you ought to do this, you ought to do that, you ought to, you know, do, and then I went into a meditation, and one of my kind of sacred spaces in my meditation, my mind space, if you will, is I sit at the base of a very ancient, really big old tree. And I gain wisdom from this tree because this tree has been around for thousands of years and it has knowledge across the spans of time, and this is how I see it, right? And so I was sitting there in my meditation at the base of this tree, and I'm just kind of clearing my mind. And as I'm sitting there, I'm seeing, I'm hearing the birds flying around, and you know, and kind of I can picture them up in the top of the tree making the little nests, and I see the squirrels climbing up the tree, and at the base of the tree I see all the little ants and all the little bugs, and they're crawling around and they're crawling up the tree and they're doing all of these things, and the tree is just being a tree, and it's providing so many things. It's providing for the birds, it's providing for the little bugs, it's providing for the squirrels, it's growing fruit for anybody to take, it's, you know, all these different things that this tree is providing for its environment, and it's not purposely trying to do that. You know, it's just being, right? And so when I saw that in my mind, I'm like, oh, I get it, you know, okay, I just be me and I be the best version of me that I can be and follow whatever way is being shown to me, follow my path, and all the rest of everything else will be taken care of. It'll be, you know, obviously if you know, if somebody, you know, since I'm a person instead of just a tree, I can take more actions, but at the same time, I don't have to do everything. I can just let life come to me, and then in the moments be asking, how can I serve, or how can I nurture this situation, or how can I better be the best version of myself in this moment in time and place, and all of that kind of thing. But I wanted to, just real quick, I noticed a couple of comments. Leon Alexander put a couple comments on here, and then I also noticed that Christopher Camp had joined us over on the Google Plus page. Welcome, guys. And Christopher, I'm sorry the discuss thing isn't working right for you. I wish that it would cooperate for everybody, but it doesn't for some reason. But it's the only comment system I can get that will update in live time without refreshing the page. So, anyway, let me read Leon's comments here real quick. He says, the first one, he said, I love this. This is the process of clarification, looking deep inside yourself. And I think he was referring to some of what Christina was saying earlier. And then he put another comment and said, this is great. I was listening to a podcast today, and the guest was talking about creating lifelong relationships through value and how to build relationships through service and helping that person's need without expectation. Yeah, absolutely. And, oh, Karen just put a comment on here let me just go ahead and read hers too. Oh my, I was wondering if this was my ego. A very dissettling sensation I've noticed for several years now, and not being able to read, is a pebbly, goosebumpy, shrinky type of feeling behind my upper legs and my bottom portion of my buttocks. I know it's telling me something, but try as I may, I generally can't discern what. Any thoughts? I'm going to concern as originating from my ego and see where that takes me. Man, this hangout always has such good stuff. Thank you. Oh, awesome, Karen. And you know, and that is the thing, isn't it? Is to just notice that discomfort wherever it's showing up, and then trying to identify, you know, what is it that that you're actually feeling, right? You know, just like when I was talking about feeling all weird about the whole word serving, right, and how that affects me. And so I really just had to kind of dig in there and explore it. And, you know, and I even had to kind of read through it a couple of times to figure out which words specifically were bugging me about that. And, you know, so that was kind of the thing. Now, of course, if you're in a situation and it's not necessarily something that you're reading, but it's a situation where, like with my husband, for instance, and here's one thing I want to kind of mention. Hopefully I'm not so scratchy this time. But, you know, in my blog post, I mentioned how I recognized kind of after the fact what I was doing with my husband, right? And it was when I recognized it, I even had that discomfort or weird feeling about it afterwards. And but then when I was in another situation where I was talking to him on the phone again, that next time that it came up that he is talking and you know, maybe he says he wants advice or whatever, but mostly I think he just wants a prompt to keep on talking. Instead of saying what I thought, I would ask him a question instead. But that was making me uncomfortable, right? And you know, so even if we just recognize little things to begin with, just like Wayne mentions in the chapter about, you know, if you're riding with was he the one that mentioned if you're riding with your spouse in the car and your spouse decides they're going to pass on by a parking space, or they're going to drive a different route than what you would take, and how does that make you feel, right? So I don't know, those are just some thoughts that I had, is just kind of think more on when exactly is it that you have that discomfort, and what does it make you feel like. Oh, one of the things that came up earlier, who was talking about, I don't remember who said what, but it reminded me of how easy it is for us to recognize when other people have an issue and we just jump right on them, and we want to fix it, right? But then when it comes to us, and of course, Christina was talking about that as well, is the recognizing it in ourselves and how it's it's more difficult, and overcoming some of those things. And then but then when we recognize something about others, it's easy to jump on them and tell them what they're doing wrong and all of that. But then it's like that whole facing our own issues is, we don't want to. That's what it was. I'm sorry, I wasn't entirely clear on what my train of thought there, but yeah, just it's funny how we're so good at telling other people how much they're screwing up, and yet facing our own issues is so much harder. But it's good if you can recognize them and actually face them and try and decide, okay, try and figure out what is it that's causing me this and how can I work on it.
Yeah. As for finished. Okay. Yeah. As for discomforts in the body, I've been, I guess, more in tune with that lately because I'm taking this online course recently through Neville Goddard work. Called Manifesting Mastery, but there was one exercise where you're, feeling sensations in your body or looking at them. But it just reminds me too that, if you feel some sensation in your body or some long-term stress or something, like in your shoulders or whatever it may be, you can look at the thought where it started if you can. The sooner you catch it, the better. But look at, it could be from your childhood. That happened to me where I was having some low back pain, and I realized a lot of it was from something in childhood that made me angry. And once I realized that, it was gone. Like the back pain, gone. That was there with me for like a year and a half. So if you can really tap into where that thought or belief came from, and then it may not be that easy, but then if you do find little bits of what could that thought have been or that belief that causes this sensation in my body, and then when you're aware of that thought or belief the next time it pops in, you can see it sooner and sort of work on just erasing it or changing it with a new belief, and then you'll notice that the body sensation isn't there anymore. And it's also, I'm reminded because I'm going to a body work specialist. It's called Kihara technique, and just releases the muscle tension, the fascia. It's almost like Rolfing, but not. It's more working with resistance in your muscles, and he also does this stuff called mashing, where he's working deep into your muscles. But then after sessions like that, I notice that I can get very emotional because our muscles hold cellular memory, emotional memories. So just things can come out of nowhere, like old memories that totally forgot about because it was released through that muscle release. So when we really look at our body as a tool to see where we're at in our life or why something's going on in our life, our body is a tool to help us with also changing our thoughts and beliefs, because our body holds everything. So when you see those discomforts, definitely check in with what's your mind thinking, what belief maybe you're holding on to that's not serving you.
Yeah, see that we're all weaving it together. That's recognizing where that is in your body, because it holds on to it. I didn't really believe that, I don't think, until not too long ago. And more I can totally see what you're saying. You said that was mushing? Is that what you said he was doing? Mushing?
Mashing.
Mashing.
It's part of Kihara technique. It's Ki-Hara. Look it up. It's really interesting. It's not well known, but it's amazing, amazing stuff. So good.
Okay, I have a quick question for the panel. I'm stuck on this right here. If anybody could help me out with the verse. When you read this here, stop the chase and be the witness, what does that mean? Anybody can help me out with that one? Help me out with that one.
That's like trying to grab water Donna. You know, if you try reaching into a glass or a pan of water and try picking it up, you just can't grasp it. It's like what Samantha was saying earlier about chasing things. You know, you get it in your mind, okay. And this is something that in this entrepreneur world, you know, we're constantly telling people this. This is what we've been telling people, what everybody tells people. That's what's written in all the books, is you have to you know, visualize your goal. You have to see it like feel it like you're already there, and you have to go put your focus and go for it, you know. And actually, there was another blog post written this week about exactly that, about, you know, everybody's teaching everybody to stay so focused and go after one thing or find their purpose. But sometimes when you do that, you just start hitting, like you're so in your mind that, and so much wanting to control everything, that you just start hitting speed bump after speed bump after speed bump after frustration after frustration. It just keeps going like that. And if you can just step back and, like we said at the very beginning, just let those things, you can do all that visualization and feeling and seeing and all that, but then just kind of ask the universe, how can I get there? And let the universe bring it to you, instead of always trying to grasp that water and it's slipping out of your fingers. That's how I would answer that.
It's kind of ironic, because this is exactly my topic I'm going to be doing a Periscope about later on today. If you ever, like, if there's a water hose, you know, think of like a water hose, and the water coming through the water hose, and you've stretched it across the yard or whatever, and there's just nothing coming out of that water hose. But if you go look at the end of it, you realize somehow some dirt got like up in the water hose and it's plugging it up. It can't get through. The energy, your success energy, your positive energy, your love energy, all this great energy can't get through if you clog it up, always searching after the thing. Because sometimes you just don't know what the thing is. But if you allow yourself to like freely move with the energy, and this is something that I'm learning as a hero syndrome having control freak, so like recovering, like this is something that I'm learning from myself. Sometimes you just gotta just get on the energy wave and just ride that bad boy. And stop bogging it up and stopping your success, getting away in your success, sabotaging your success by doing what you think the thing is. Because guess what? It's divine order. It's already done.
So would it be fair to say the witness would be, who would be the witness in that? Would it be our inner self, what we're saying here about the inner self? Who stop the chase and become, that's good, but who is he referring to as the witness here? Would that be ourself? Or I don't know, I'm the witness. Who is that?
That's you, just looking, just watching, you know, being the observer, pulling back from the situation and just being the observer and watching how the play is coming out, watching how things come around. I think they're definitely referring to our bigger self, our spirit self, not just our like human self. I know we're getting towards the top of the hour, so I'm just going to add my last little thing here. And you guys have heard me say this so much. We always say what we most need to hear. Always. And I've had such perfect examples of that this week, because several times this week I have had something very strong on my mind that I wanted to convey, and just felt like I had to share whatever my ego was thinking at the time, and made a video. And I did not post those videos. And it wasn't because I didn't think they were good enough, or because I didn't think that they were bad or anything. It was just because after I listened to them, I realized I needed to hear that. Like that was a message to me. So now I guess I've started recording myself to counsel myself. I don't know. But it worked. And I just want to thank Leon, thank you for coming. I think this is your first time here, and thank you, Marcia, for inviting. And I hope everybody has a wonderful week and enjoys the next verse. I haven't even looked ahead, because each verse, normally in books I look ahead, but these verses like keep me occupied long enough I'm not even looking ahead anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been actually trying to look ahead so that I can formulate what to write about soon, and get that on. The past couple of times I've been, it's been a struggle for me to get it done by Tuesday so I can have it up on the page and ready to be promoted for today. Marcia she put a comment on here, Donna. She says, stop the chase, and then in parentheses, that means just be. And be the witness, and in parentheses she says, live life and you will be aware of your living. And then Marcia also says, haha, Christina, I love you, girl. Great response on the stop the chase and be the witness. And I just wanted to say something on there as far as being the witness too, and it's that part of yourself that notices what you're doing, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, and how you're reacting. And just like when I realized what I was doing with my husband, it was me realizing it is me being the witness. So hopefully that all those things kind of help clear that up for you, Donna. And before we go, I want to read this little section at the end of the chapter, which is the Do the Tao Now section, because I think this kind of really sums it up for anybody who really wants to get the most out of this verse in this particular chapter. How am I sounding? Am I sounding clear? Okay, good. All right, do the Tao Now. Be on the lookout for ego demands for an entire day. Decide to diffuse as many of them as you can comfortably, perhaps by assigning them an intensity grade. Living beyond ego situations that are easy to accomplish get a low number, while those requests that are difficult to quell get a higher number. For example, let's say your spouse is driving a car in which you are a passenger. You see the perfect parking space, but your mate drives on by, and you watch him, and you watch him or her take a different route than you ordinarily do. Silently witness the degree of discomfort with your decision not to say anything. Did ego let you know its preference? Or if you have a conversational opportunity to display your specialized knowledge or describe a situation wherein you were the recipient of honor or success, note how uncomfortable your decision to remain quiet felt. Again, did ego let you know its preference? As Lao Tzu says in the verse, through selfless action, fulfillment is attained. By holding back ego's demands, even for a few moments, you will feel more and more fulfilled. And so this is all about just being the witness of the things that are happening in your life. Does anybody want to, add a final comment before we wrap it up for today?
No, just great discussion. Be conscious, be aware, don't avoid, take note, and then explore.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with us this week. And thanks for sharing your insights and thoughts on the conversation as well. I mean, that's what we come here for every week. We get together every Saturday morning at SaturdayMorningMastermind.com, and we discuss these different topics so that we can all learn and grow together and become the best versions of ourselves. So for those of you who are watching, if at any time you'd like to jump on and join us on this live discussion, just message me on Facebook. The easiest way to get me is just to send me a message, and if I don't respond right away, comment on one of my posts and let me know you've sent me a message in case Facebook decides to put it in my spam folder and I don't see it. So with that, guys, have a great day, awesome, amazing, wonderful weekend, and please like this video on YouTube, share it with anybody you think that it could help, and comment on our page, share our blog posts, all that fun stuff. Give us some comment and sharing love. That would be awesome so we can help more people in the world. All right, have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye again.